Good morning, everybody. I'm on the road again. I'm actually in Nashville, Tennessee. Hour time difference from the East Coast, where, of course, I live. And just looking forward to chatting with you for a minute. I love what we get to do together. I just love thinking and making you think, I hope. All right. So I told you we're going to talk about the Three Little Pigs again. I'm going to grab my coffee. Excuse me. Gotta have my coffee, man. Come on. But don't underestimate what these three little piglets, three little pieces of bacon can say to you, man. So we talked last week about 1 Corinthians 10 and how the children of Israel's journey is this cool model, if you will, for those who come after, which would be us. And I feel like that's what good stories do. They kind of awaken you to principles that others have experienced, that others have lived through, and the consequences. And I believe that's what we could get out of the Three Little Pigs. I know it's a weird parable, if you will. It's a weird passage of thought to use. But just think for a minute about the story again. We're not going to read it again. You know, the Three Little Pigs: lazy pig, playful pig, smart pig, wolf comes. One builds out of straw, one out of sticks, one out of brick. Similar to the parable of the sower. In this case, there's three pigs. In that case, there's four soils. But only one of the three little pigs in one of the four soils ends well. And basically, they're parables, if you will, about why. And so what I want to talk about today is just some of my thoughts on what I got out of the Three Little Pigs and principles that I draw from the Three Little Pigs, because I think it's a great little story about how to live well and finish strong. How to get where we want to go, how to grab life and get out of it what we're meant to have and what we want to have. So, I do this when I'm speaking some places, particularly with leaders and their staff. I'll talk about the Three Little Pigs, and I'll do exactly what I asked you to do, to think about what principles could you draw from this, this fable, this story. And, you get all kinds of things. You get funny ones, you get cute ones, you get serious ones. Obviously, normally I'm in Christian environments, and so you get, the wolf's the devil, and, just all kinds of things. And it's good stuff. But I just want to share with you a few thoughts that I have as I've done it. And I don't mean that they're better. I just mean they're thoughts, obviously, that I want to use to push you in a direction. And, again, one of the biggest things is, the clearest observation is that only one of the three ended well. And the others had the same instructions. We have to assume externally they had the same availability of resources. Obviously, they had the same amount of time and grew up in the same home, different birth order, you could maybe say, whatever. But we don't know about that. But it's just kind of interesting to think about how we're different. And, you grind down too far and it probably destroys the point the author was trying to make. So what are some things that you could derive from the story? And let me give you a couple of mine. What spiritual lessons or principles could you draw from this story? How about this one? What you build will be tested. What you build will be tested. And you don't know the quality of what you build until it's tested. Oh, well, my finances are strong. My marriage is strong. Man, I'm a great friend. You don't really know the quality of things until they face some kind of a challenge. And I'm not saying that challenges are great, but here's the thing, guys. You can't get stronger without challenges, and you can't really find out the beauty and power of what God's built until you're challenged. And to be quite honest with you, you can't really know yourself the way you need to know yourself without being challenged. Because challenge is, again, I like to say a lot of times marriage is a mirror. Maybe it's saying the same thing, because marriage surely has a lot of challenge built into it. But challenge is a mirror of sorts also. When you're faced with a challenge, when you're faced with an obstacle, an opponent, if you will, between you and what you know is rightfully yours or God wants you to have or whatever, you learn a lot about yourself. You find out where your gaps are. You find out where your strengths are. You find out where you're going to need others' help. So challenges are good. So another thought from the Three Little Pigs would be your inner reality creates, shapes, and defines your outer reality. What's inside of you affects what you build outside. What's inside of you affects what you tolerate outside. What's inside of you affects and shapes what you pursue outside of yourself. You had a lazy pig, playful pig, smart pig. All I'm really saying is the environment on the inside of them, how life had shaped them on the inside, affected what they built on the outside. Now, why? What's the value of a thought like that? Well, here's the thing: if you want to change the outside, work on the inside. If you want to change the outside, work on the inside. If you want to change the outside, work on the inside. Of whom? You. Why? Because here's the thing: if you don't work on the inside, you can change the outside, and maybe temporarily it's better. But if you don't change the inside, you're going to rebuild the outside the way it was to some degree before, because you're going to create an outside that reflects how you see, feel, and believe about yourself, God, and others on the inside. So if you want to change the outside, work on the inside. Work on the inside. Lazy pig, playful pig, smart pig, right? How about labels? Do you have some labels that you use in reference to yourself? I am blank. We talked about this a while back. I am blank. One of my most painful things revolves around I am a disappointment. What if lazy pig, playful pig, smart pig? What if that's kind of how they saw themselves and they just didn't think they could build anything better? What are your I ams? Listen to this cool phrase: whoever's words define you is your God. I don't want to hurry past that one. Whoever's words define you is your God. Who told me that I was lazy? I'd never amount to anything. My earthly father. He was my God, little g, during my childhood. But then God, big G, became my God and my father. And he said, Chipper, you're not lazy. You're wired in a laid-back, relaxed way so that people will feel safe talking to you. How many of you know it changed a label? It changed a label in the way I saw myself. I'm not lazy. I'm interestingly wired, as you could ask my wife and find out. But it comes in handy to fulfill my assignment. So just give some thought to the Three Little Pigs. Time's up. And might pursue this a little bit more next week. We'll see. But gosh, I love you guys. And I so enjoy what we get to do together. Bye.